morning and welcome to nothing. This is not anything, this is just my video. It's just me sitting here on my bed with my little Sophie girl and my gross husband eating cereal and belching on the couch behind you. Stop it! Put it down, let it get soggy. That's your punishment. Today, I thought it would be fun to take some time to share with you my top 10 essential Christmas movies. Now, in our household, we start Christmas very early. The entire holiday season for us starts November 1st. And in our world, that also means Christmas movies. And I am really excited to share these with you. They are my absolute favorite. I'm sure this list is not all inclusive. These are just my 10 favorite. You may love some of them, you may hate some of them, that's okay. That's why it's my list, not your list. But I wanted to preface this by saying that when I'm looking for a Christmas movie, I really want to have a feel-good Christmas movie. And for me to have a feel-good Christmas movie, it needs to have a happy ending. And being a romantic that I am, I'm totally a romantic, I really need to have a happy ending. I really like there to be romance in the story. So let's just get started. I want to show you my top 10 essential Christmas movies. And number 1 is Irving Berlin's White Christmas. Now, I absolutely love this movie. I grew up on this movie. This has Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen. I love this movie. It's one of my absolute favorites. I've watched it since I was a very little girl. I remember watching it with my parents. Every time we ever caught it on television, I knew that it was time for the holiday season, that Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's were all just around the corner, and it was just a great way to set the mood. The premise generally is that there's a pair of army buddies who get out of the army and they decide that they're going to start a show business act. They become one of the hottest acts in show business. And they partner up with a sister act who then they all go to Vermont to like perform at this inn. And the inn is in Vermont in winter and it's supposed to be really snowy, but there is no snow. So this is kind of a dilemma that the inn is not doing very well. It looks like it might have to shut down. They're not really sure what's happening. But it just happens to be that the owner of this inn is the two gentlemen's army general. So they want to really try to figure out how to help him out. It's a musical, so it has lots of great music in it, which I absolutely adore. And the whole idea of like waiting for snow to come was something that I really related to growing up because we moved quite a bit growing up, but my first 8 years of my life we lived in one place. We lived in Oak Harbor, Washington, and in my memory, this may not be right, but in my memory I remember there being snow every single year, a lot of snow every single year. So I just love this movie just because it was happy. I love the singing, I like the dancing. It just made me feel good. It made me feel like Christmas was upon us. And it also made me really excited because I wanted to have a white Christmas with snow too. So I highly recommend this one. The next movie that I absolutely love is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Now I know that there's a lot of people out there who like this. There might be a lot of people out here that don't like this, but I absolutely adore this movie. I love that it's family friendly. I love that it's got a happy ending. I love that it's funny. I really like Tim Allen. I think he's a really funny guy. I like that his comedy is very clean. And the premise of like a highfalutin, I know, I'm like a hillbilly at the moment. Like he's like a highfalutin businessman who gains weight super fast overnight and grows a big white beard, and he just basically transforms into Santa Claus in like a really fast time period. It was just really intriguing to me. I thought that was a fun story, and I just love the whole idea that it could really be like, could it potentially be that Santa Claus is really just a man who put on Santa's suit after the previous Santa died, and now he then becomes Santa Claus? Like, how cool would that be? And would my hubby mind trying this little suit on for me? So I love that one. I would highly recommend that one. Now, I don't have this movie on DVD by itself. I have this movie in a set, but I love this movie. My hubby and I came across this movie. It's called The Christmas Box, and we stumbled upon it about 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago. And we actually, my husband and I are avid book readers, so we read a lot of books and we go through a lot of books. And there was this really small Christmas book that I had in my collection forever and ever and ever, and I had never really read it. I have a lot of these small little books, but because they're so small, I never really kind of felt the need to take the time to like try to read them. But it was my Grandma Kay's book, and when my Grandma Kay passed away, she willed a bunch of her books to me, and this was one of them. my husband and I used to commute to work together, and it was a really long commute. So he would drive and I would have a book and I would read it to him. Yeah, we did that with a few books and it was really awesome. And so that became something that he and I used to do together, like as a way to like just be quiet and sit together and share a story together. And we would take turns reading a chapter. He'd read a chapter, I'd read a chapter, he'd read a chapter, I'd read a chapter. And this book was called The Christmas Box. And it is probably one of the schmarmiest, like, saccharine, sweet, lovely Christmas story that you could possibly think of. But it says, I'm gonna read the premise to you because I have a hard time like telling. My thing about movies is I don't remember the details of movies. I remember how movies make me feel. So if a movie makes me feel happy or sad or laugh, you know, giggly, lots of laughter, or if it scares me, that's what I remember about movies. I don't usually remember details about movies. I don't usually remember characters' names. I don't remember exact plot lines. I remember gists of things. So I'm gonna just read this one to you. The Christmas Box. A young couple and their daughter go to live in a stately old home as caretakers for the elderly owner in this holiday classic based on the bestseller. This is in a collection of 6 holiday movies called the Christmas Classics Collection. I think it is found on Amazon. But my husband and I read the book together that year, and I think it was about 3 years ago actually. And when I found out that the book had been made into a movie, I was really like, ooh, I'm intrigued. I wanna see what this movie's about. So I immediately purchased this little set and watched the movie and absolutely fell in love with it. It's very sweet and a little bit saccharine. It's very family friendly. You don't have to worry about any, you know, vulgar language or anything like that, or anything you wouldn't want your kids to, any habits you wouldn't want your kids to pick up on. But it's really sweet, and it's something that my husband and I have really cherished, and it's something that we both really look forward to every year is watching this movie again, because we both really love it. Another movie that I really enjoy is called Borrowed Hearts, and it has Roma Downey and Eric McCormick in it, and it also has Hector Elizondo. Now these are three actors that I really, really love. Again, it falls under schmarmy. My Christmas movies are usually schmarmy. They just make me happy. They have really good happy endings. There's a great sweet romance in this. And the premise is basically, he's a single powerful businessman and he's about to close the biggest deal of his career with a gentleman who's a family man. The problem is Sam prefers his freedom over having a family. So he convinces one of his workers, who's a single mom, to basically be rented, I guess, to be rented for the holidays and pretend to be his wife and daughter. And it's funny and it's light and it's comical and it's a great story to it, and there's a sweet romance that happens, and it has an amazing happy ending, which just makes me ecstatic because I love happy endings, like I keep saying. But I really love this movie. It's called Borrowed Hearts, so go check it out. I also really like this one. This is the one my husband's not so fond of, but he gets it, he understands that I really like it. This is one of those ABC Family movies, and my husband and I don't have cable, so I don't watch regular television anymore, but ABC Family, if I remember correctly, it's been quite a while, but ABC Family plays one Christmas movie every night. At least that's how I remember it. And this was one of those movies that I actually stumbled on, and I think I stumbled on it a couple times because I was like, that is the hokiest, cheesiest movie I've ever seen. I cannot believe I'm watching this. But every time I fell into it, like every time I stumbled upon it, I watched a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and finally I had the chance to like watch it from beginning to end and absolutely fell in love with this cheesy Christmas story. And it's called Holiday in Handcuffs. It has Melissa Joan Hart and Mario Lopez starring in it. And it's very hokey, it's very cheesy. The premise is really kind of silly. The premise is essentially there's this daughter who is constantly being judged by her mom, and so the mom is really pushing, you need to bring your date for the Christmas holidays, and long story short, her boyfriend ends up breaking up with her like that very day they're supposed to leave, and so she's in a panic and decides stupidly and idiotically to kidnap the character who is Mario Lopez's character, and kidnaps him and basically takes him to family Christmas, which is really a hokey premise. It's, you know, in real life, that's like, I'm calling the cops, you're going to jail, bitch. You know, it's not something they usually joke about, and you don't usually think that's gonna be a happy ending, but there is a happy ending. It's very sweet. It does happen to be very charming. It is very hokey. My husband doesn't appreciate it too much, but he gets that I like it, so he lets me just kind of do my thing. So yeah, Holiday in Handcuffs. It's one of my faves. It's a little bit kooky. It's a little bit weird. It's really like if this story happened in real life, bitch please, you're going to jail. Crazy person. But I love this movie, I just do. And it doesn't help that Mario Lopez is not hard on the ice. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What?
Yeah, we could be twins.
Of course. So this next movie that I chose for my list was one that I also watched, but I didn't watch this one until I was a little bit older. My parents started to kind of relax a little bit on the whole movie thing, and we started to be allowed to watch movies. Now this is one, I think the first time I watched this, I watched like the TV version, so it was like edited out all the bad words and like some of the situations that my parents deemed questionable, but I absolutely love this movie, and it's called Scrooged, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it before, but I love this movie. It's basically a comedic update of the Charles Dickens story, A Christmas Carol, and it's just so hilarious. It has Bill Murray in it. He's the main character. I just love all the situations that happen so much. I love the ghosts. They freak me out. I'm laughing so freaking hard. I especially love the Ghost of Christmas Present. She basically kicks the shit out of him with a toaster. It's hilarious. I love it. It sounds brutal, but it's totally funny. I love it. I highly recommend this movie. Yeah, go check it out. And side note, at the very end, they sing a song, and that song makes me cry every single time when I hear it in the movie, because I'm so engrossed in like these characters and what's going on, and it's just awesome. So yes, I'm a bit of a baby. I'm a bit of a sap, but I really love this movie. And oh, the Ghost of Christmas Present is Carol Kane. She's so freaking hilarious, and she's got really high-pitched little voice that she's using. Oh my god, it's just absolutely hilarious. And she's got a tutu on with fairy wings, and she's got like a wand with a star, and she's all glittery. And when I was a little girl, that was like my dream, to be just like that. I wanted the tutu, I wanted the wings, I wanted the fairy wand, I wanted the sparkles, I wanted to fly. It was the dream. So, you know, I have to side with the Ghost of Christmas Present. So check this movie out. It is so unbelievably awesome. I love it. So that was 5. So we got 5 more to go. So this one is The Preacher's Wife with Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston. Love this movie so much. Love this movie so much. I love it. I don't even know how to describe what it is. This is actually a remake off of a movie that I believe Cary Grant did back in the 50s, I think. And I love Cary Grant. When I was growing up, he was one of my favorite actors because he was cute. Come on, seriously girls, he was gorgeous. He was. Listen, Liz, he was gorgeous. There is some music in this movie that I absolutely adore. You know, growing up in a musical family, music was everywhere in my world. This Christmas music is so unbelievably amazing. I just love Whitney Houston's voice. I love the soul in this movie. I love the message in this movie, and I like the message of hope, and I love that it's got a happy ending and there's magic. I just love this movie. Yeah, I love this movie. I told you I love this movie. So 4 to go. This one is another one of those schmarmy movies, but I absolutely love it. And my husband, who kind of claims that it's kind of like an iffy on his list, will always stop and watch it with me every single time it is on. So I don't buy it that he does not like this movie. It is called The Christmas Card, and we watch this movie every single year. Yes, I'm being told by the peanut gallery over there that we actually watch this movie 3 to 5 times a year, which is absolutely true. A lot of these movies play in rotation in my world because I really like listening to movies while I'm doing other things. So The Christmas Card is one of my musts. I just absolutely love it. I love the idea that there's a woman out in the world who writes to servicemen who can't get home for Christmas. And this letter really touches this gentleman's heart as he's in Afghanistan. And when he comes back from service, he decides that he's gonna try to track this woman down. And which is a little bit like the story of The Lucky One, just side note, but I really like this a lot. The only thing that bugs me about this movie, really, the only thing, and it's so minor, I cannot stand the way they did her hair. Like, it is so bad that it's absolutely distracting. I cannot concentrate on this love story or this beautiful scenery or this gorgeous house or the great premise that they're talking about, because the lady's hair is so bad. So if you're curious to see what her hair looked like and tell me how bad it actually was, go check this out, because she has like fine mousy baby hair, and they've got it like styled away from her head so that you can see through her hair. It's like she's got like a big old gap. Oh, I hate it so much, but I love the story. I love the dude who plays the main guy. What's his name? The man who plays Cody Cullen, his name is John Newton, and apparently he's from Desperate Housewives, which I actually had never watched. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful, but no, that's never been a show in my repertoire. But John Newton, he's pretty hot, so that helps. She's a little bit doofusy, but she's sweet, and it ends up being like a little romantic story. And you know, there's this thing about like extra crispy curly fries, which kind of gets annoying because it is a little bit schmarmy. But I love this movie. It's a great Christmas movie. Okay, so these last ones are my 3 faves. I saved the best for last, but these are my favorite. I absolutely love these ones. This one is from Hallmark. It's a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie. It's called A Season for Miracles. I love this movie. It's like family friendly, and it could be, I guess, it could be considered a little bit schmarmy, but it's not campy like a lot of the others are. It's not quite so saccharine. It's really a cool idea that there's an aunt who has her niece and nephew in her care, and the mom of the 2 kids is in some kind of like a psychiatric hospital for some reason, a drug addiction or something. And they go to visit the mom, and come to find out while they're there, CSD shows up to take the children away, and the auntie panics and basically goes on the run, and an angel intervenes and finds them a house to stay in, and basically they fall in love with this town, and the town falls in love with them, and blah 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 blah. It's just such a great story. There's a great romance that happens there, and there's kind of a mystery. You're like, how is this gonna come out? You know, is the auntie gonna go to jail? Are the kids have to go in the system? Is it all gonna be good? But it's just so sweet, and I love it. It has David Conrad from Touched by an Angel, which Touched by an Angel was my show back in the day. So David Conrad was really cool. I really liked him, so that's what actually got me to watch this movie. It has Carla Gugino, I don't know her name, but she's the main actress. There's David Conrad, Patty Duke is in here, and the kids are really cool. This is a great movie. I highly recommend it. This is definitely one that I always watch during the Christmas season, but in all honesty, this is one I could watch any time of the year because I just like it so much. But there's just something about it that is very homey and very warm and comforting and sweet and charming, and I use those words a lot for the movies that I like for Christmas: sweet, comforting, charming, you know, happy ending. This one was a hard toss-up, so I'm going to show you my last 2, but I can't tell you which one's which because I don't know. I don't like one more than the other. But I'm gonna show you this one first, and that is Will Ferrell and Elf. Like, seriously, who does not love this movie? I love this movie. I think it's super hilarious. My husband and I watch this every year together. My husband actually will not let me watch this movie until he is in the room. He doesn't want me to watch by myself. This is a movie we watch together. It is super hilarious. It's basically about a man who, as a baby, crawls into Santa's bag while Santa's out delivering presents and ends up at the North Pole. And so one of the elves in the North Pole ends up raising this man as what he thinks he's an elf, but he's a man as an elf. And so he finds out who his father is, and he basically does this trek across the world to go find his daddy. And it's hilarious. It's super funny. The guy eats some really bizarro food, and since my husband watches it, I am just so thankful that my husband has not adopted one of the food habits of Will Ferrell's character, and that is spaghetti with maple syrup, because ew, gross. My husband thinks it would be awesome, but I can guarantee if he tries it, he's gonna be sick as a dog. Gross. But it is so funny. I love this movie. It's really kind of fun because the whole premise of this movie is that it's basically about believing in the spirit of Christmas. And yeah, it's cool. And not only that, but it has Zooey Deschanel in it. Before I even knew who Zooey Deschanel was, and she's blonde, and she does not have bangs. It's very weird because I love Zooey, and I love Zooey's style, and I followed her for a long time, but this was before I knew who she was, and when I would go back and watch Elf, I'm like, I know her from somewhere, but I don't know where. And then all of a sudden, when I became more familiar with her, I was like, my god, she's blonde, she's got no bangs, that's so weird. But yeah, it's awesome. And there's a sweet little bathroom scene, which you don't hear that in a sentence every day, but there's a sweet little bathroom scene where he is sitting on the bathroom counter, like the sink counter, and she is in the shower taking a shower, and they're basically like doing a duet of Baby It's Cold Outside, and I just love it so much. I just love this whole movie. There's probably nothing in this movie that I don't absolutely enjoy. Christmas is not Christmas unless we've watched this movie, and it has Will Ferrell and James Caan in it, so check it out. I'm sure there's a lot of you that love that one. That one's pretty popular. And then my absolute favorite Christmas movie, and that is The Grinch. And this is the remake of The Grinch because I love The Grinch from Dr. Seuss, you know, the cartoon that we will all watch when we were growing up. But this one is just so funny. I love Jim Carrey in this movie. I think he just plays such a really great Grinch. And I really love the little girl, Taylor Momsen. I think she's just so adorable, and she sings really beautifully, and I just love the story. I love the message. I love the happy ending. I love the funniness of it. I love that it makes me laugh. I love that it makes me think. I love that it's just such a sweet all-around movie. And the thing about a lot of these movies is that they trick you into like getting a message. A message of goodness, a message of hope, a message of love, a message of just, you know, what the season of Christmas is supposed to be all about anyways. So I'm sure that I missed some. So what I would really love from you is if you would please let me know down in the comment section, what movies did I miss? Do you like anything on my list? Do you hate anything on my list? What do you recommend for me to watch? It would be nice to have some new movies to watch. I'm sure my husband would really appreciate having some new movies in the rotation. But I hope that you enjoyed that video. I appreciate you watching. If you liked what you saw, please thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. That's right, Lens, I'm talking to you. Love you, honey. I love you, honey. Hey! Is your mouth full of cereal?
Sure is.
Of course, why wouldn't it be?